Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 66th episode of Don't Forget the Popcorn. It's that time of year, and I know tons of people who've been watching all the super Christmassy Christmas movies. I've watched a few, some bad ones, a few good ones, but today I wanted to talk about some Christmas movies that aren't really about Christmas. More so, movies set at Christmas times with a few themes in it, but ultimately the plot could take place at any time of year. I know the obvious one is Die Hard, no surprise there. So I'm not even going to talk about that one. Although, yes, it is one of the best non Christmas movies. I'm going to throw in some you may have come to mind right away, and maybe a few ones you've never seen before. Either way, I think you should turn on your tree, throw on a blanket, and pour up some spiked eggnog and watch some of these classics before the year ends and enjoy. I picked 10 for you. Hey guys, before we get into it, do your boy a favor and like and subscribe. It's free. Help me out. Appreciate it. So now, let's get into the best non-Christmas Christmas movies. Number 10, Trading Places, 1983, directed by John Landis. Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd team up in this 80s classic about a rich white guy who switches lives with a poor black man. It's all an experiment where both guys are trying to figure out why and how this happened, and they experience life through each other's lens in this comedy non-holiday classic. This movie is set in New York in the heart of Christmas time. Nothing beats Christmas in New York, especially back in the 80s. The city looks great with beautiful decorations and cold winter setting to give this heartfelt comedy classic that Christmas warmth. We also get a fun young performance from the legend Jamie Lee Curtis. Number 9, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, 2001, directed by Chris Columbus. Now, how weird is it making a Christmas movie list with a Chris Columbus directed film that's not named Home Alone? I think this is one most people have seen, but let's not forget about the wonderful Christmas scenes we have in this movie. Happy Christmas, Harry. Harry gets the coveted invisibility cloak for Christmas, which is a vital part of this film. As a kid, the Christmas cold setting and wonderful Hogwarts is one of my fondest Christmas memories as a kid. The Sorcerer's Stone kicks this acclaimed and successful franchise off really nicely, giving us the start of this wonderful story. We see the leads that we know so well now as little babies making their debuts in acting. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint grow up right before our eyes, and this is where it all started. Number 8, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 2005, directed by Shane Black. We will discuss this guy later on this list. For whatever reason, he loves his movies set in the holidays. This is one you may not have seen. This movie stars Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. RDJ plays a criminal who broke into a toy store on Christmas time and ends up in an audition and becomes an actor by accident. Him and Val Kilmer go on a quest to figure out a mystery that all takes place in the most wonderful time of year. This film is funny, action packed, and cleverly written. LA Christmases aren't the same as the white ones we might get in the colder parts of the country, but I still love LA movies set at Christmas, seeing people near Christmas lights with shorts on. Strap up for this action Christmas comedy that has nothing to actually do with Christmas, even though the holiday sets the plot. Number 7, Lethal Weapon, 1987, directed by Richard Donner. Well, we talking about Shane Black again. He wrote this action comedy classic that is without a doubt a Christmas movie. We open this thing up with Jingle Bell Rocks and we get the beautiful Christmas setting, even though we in LA again. I don't know if I even need to tell you guys what this movie is about. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover star in what may be the best buddy cop franchise of all time. Their chemistry was off the charts, and this movie opened the door for this genre. These two cops are trying to crack a case while getting to know each other, while one deals with his family and their craziness, and the other is lonely, battling severe depression. If you're an 80s action fan, this is a must-watch for the season. I watched it last night, and it is still great. Number 6, LA Confidential, 1997, directed by Curtis Hanson. Okay, I know, 3 LA movies in a row? Yes, sorry. LA Confidential is a crazy story about three cops who are all going through their own problems, all while having to silently work together to figure things out. Set in 1950s LA at the holidays, this movie is a wild, fun action ride with some great action and some great acting. Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, Kevin Spacey, and Kim Basinger give some great performances here. Some fun twists and turns throughout, and some of the best character development we've ever seen. If Titanic never came out, you probably know far more about this movie. Number 5. Edward Scissorhands, 1990, directed by Tim Burton. One of my favorites from my childhood, Johnny Depp plays Edward, an artificial man made by a scientist who died before his completion. He has scissors for hands and ends up moving into a very strange neighborhood with a family and ends up becoming the talk of the town. But soon, him being different, of course, will become a problem. This is also another California movie, but we do have an alternative Christmas setting here, leaving it Tim Burton to build us an interesting and different world. Set in Burbank suburbs where everyone and everything is essentially the same, Edward is the best thing to happen to this little community, even if they can't see that. This one may put a little tear in your eye, but it is very fun and a very different movie that most of you have probably seen. Number 4. City of Lost Children, 1995, directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro. You guys probably haven't seen this one. This is a wonderful French film about a strong man in the circus who teams up with a group of kids to find his brother and save him from the creepy man stealing dreams from children. Trust me, Monsters Inc. was watching this movie. This is a fun adventure movie with some awesome visuals and practical effects. One of the most interesting and creative worlds built and set all around Christmas in France. Honestly, this is one of the most underrated movies, let alone Christmas movies. This is a total blast. If you like fantasy and adventure movies, this is for you. We also get a great performance from the legend, Ron Perlman. Number 3. Tangerine, 2015, directed by Sean Baker. Okay, this is one of the funniest and most heartfelt films ever made. A true LGBT classic directed by a true legend, Sean Baker. This film was famously shot on iPhone 5s. Sean Baker gives us a slice of life film about a young trans sex worker looking for her boyfriend on Christmas Eve after she gets out of jail. This movie is fun, wild, and hilarious ride, yet again set in LA. I don't know why LA seemed to make the best non-Christmas Christmas movies. This movie shows you how all you need is a good story and good direction to get a good movie. A minimalist masterpiece that takes place right in the heart of the Christmas time. Give this movie a shot and I promise you'll be pleasantly surprised this year. Number 2. Eyes Wide Shut, 1999, directed by Stanley Kubrick. I'm actually watching this movie right now. Well, one from one of the great directors of all times, Eyes Wide Shut was Stan's last movie that I feel he didn't even put his final stamp on. Although he likely didn't greenlight the version we got because he sadly passed away, this is still one of the most interesting movies ever made. It's famous for its cult party nude scenes, but it's far more than that. We follow the homie Tom Cruise around New York all during the holidays as he can't seem to shake something his wife told him. We have a good time running through Christmas time in New York with Tom going on fun and interesting journey of self-discovery. We get a great pairing with the real-life couple Cruise and Kidman at the time, and this is a must-watch for this season. All right, guys, our number 1 pick, Fanny and Alexander, 1982, directed by Ingmar Bergman. So, this is not only one of my favorite non-Christmas Christmas movies, but this film would be in my top 5 favorite films of all time. Directed by maybe the greatest director ever, this epic film's first act is actually very much a Christmas movie through a Swedish lens. We get a great Christmas party filled with fun shenanigans and great characters. This is one of the coolest families ever. Hell, I wish I was a part of it. But this movie is seen through the eyes of our two young leads, Fanny and Alexander, mostly through Alex's lens. This was supposed to be loosely based on Ingmar's life. We get an incredible story about two kids who need to escape the clutches of the bishop, their mother's new husband, after their father dies suddenly. This film is magical, funny, gorgeous, and just an absolute emotional ride. You'll never see anything quite like it. I challenge anyone to watch this film and tell me they didn't love it. Fanny and Alexander is an example of what beautiful filmmaking really is. And Ingmar Bergman is truly one of the greatest directors ever. Guys, please check out some of these if you haven't seen them. And I want to thank you for watching. Guys, I hope you have a Merry Christmas this year. Be sure to like and sub. If you haven't, it's free. Help me out. I appreciate it. Christmas gift to me this year, subscribe to my channel. That's all I want from you. I got a podcast with my buddy, The Cutting Room Floor. Check that out for more movie content. I'll link that below. Hit me on Letterboxd, Ralph Vader. I'll link that below as well. I will be back next week. And don't forget the popcorn.